Off, we did our imaginary numbers real quick, introductory lesson, this review from Tuesdays. And then we are asking these three questions to start our lesson. So how many real solutions does x squared equal 1 have? 2. The answer is 2. Because I can have -1 times -1 is +1, and I can also have 1 times 1. So I have 2 real solutions. How many real solutions does x squared equal 0 have? 1. Just 1 because I don't have a plus or minus 0. Okay? How about x squared? How many real solutions does x squared equal -1 have? Correct. So this is none because it's not real. This is where you get to use your imagination. Okay? All right, so bumped it. I just ruined it. All right, so imaginary numbers. I'm going to pause this on the video. So what we got is imaginary numbers are square roots of a negative number. Mainly, when we take the square root of a negative value, we're going to put -1 in. That's equal to I. I squared is equal to -1. Okay? So again, these numbers can be written in the form BI, where B is the non-zero real number and I is the imaginary unit. Okay? So what we're going to be looking at is stuff like this. We'll have like 2I, we can have -5I, and we can have -1/3 I. So here's our B's, all non-zero, right? Because we already know anything times 0 is going to be, okay, going to be 0. Okay, so, yeah. So if we do this, yeah, let's start with something easy, all right? All right, so what I have to do here, okay, I have to first break up my square roots, okay? So it looks something like that. Now, what is the square root of -1 equal to? I, okay? What's the square root of 4? 2. So you would write it as 2I, okay? So if I do something just as, just like it, the square root of -25. Now, you guys should start seeing a pattern here. Well, I know that's going to become my I, then what's the square root of 25? 5. So I'm going to have 5I. So I don't necessarily have to have this work right here, but it's kind of helpful to kind of introduce it to you guys. Okay? I just realized I wasn't recording. Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, we're good then. You're going to hear it again if I didn't, so. Okay. Any questions of how we're simplifying these radicals? Pretty straightforward, right? It's the same stuff we're doing. The only thing you're doing is making it into an I, all right? Now, what we can do is, what about, how about this? What if I said, uh, well, how about this? Let's start with this. What does I equal? Okay. How about I squared? -1, okay? Now, what do you think I to the third power would equal? So what if I go like this? Let's see here. We know we have that, right? So, then I have an I left, right? All right. So I have I squared, which is -1, right? What do we say I equals? So then my answer would be So then that would be, it would be 1. Isn't that fun? I love that. Okay, so if it's an even power, your answer is going to be -1. If it's an odd power, it is going to be 1. So even if I go like this, what's I to the 22nd power is going to be -1. If I said I to the -365, it would just be 1. And the thing is, you got to be careful because you're so used to saying something's even, that means it's going to be positive, it's not going to have a negative sign in front of it, right? So you're thinking, oh, this should be a +1. Well, it's opposite. It's great. You just sit there and you just start foaming at the mouth. Okay, so you get so mad you start foaming at the mouth. How about that? Is that better for you? Foaming at the mouth because you get so mad. Okay, so let's try this one. Let's go -20 x cubed y to the 5th power. Let's take the square root of that for me. Okay, you guys ready? All right, so what I did is I kind of broke up my problem. Okay, so all I did was just kind of show you where where my numbers came from. Okay, so I took my -1, see right there. I know that 20 was 4 times 5, so I took the square root of 4 and the square root of 5. I got to take the square root of x cubed and y to the 5th. Okay, so I broke it up by the times tables, correct? I did. That's nice. Okay, so I know the square root of -1 is I. Okay, the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 5 is square root of 5. The square root of x cubed is x times the square root of x. Y to the 5th power, y squared times y. And so then I just took all the numbers that were outside of the radical, wrote them down, right? And then everything else that was left inside, I just wrote it just like that. Okay? Is there anything you want to go over from those? You guys are okay at home? I think so. It can go pretty much wherever you like it to, but usually it's going to come right after the number, and then it goes to variables. So usually you're not going to see I as one of the variables here, but you could have it in front. It'd be just fine. Okay, so how about this one? Square root of -50 x to the 7th y to the 11th. And let's do that one. I stall enough time for you? Okay. Here is my answer. 5i x cubed y to the 5th power times the square root of 2xy. Let's go. Good. Love the companionship and team happiness there. Okay. Now, we can also do stuff like this. All right. So we're going to solve for x this time, right? Oh, no trying. We're going to do it. So we get x squared is equal to negative 25. So yesterday and all the other time we would say what at this point? We can't solve it because it's not a real solution, correct? Okay. So now we can do that because now we have imaginary numbers, okay? Plus or minus 5i, right? So that means that our parabola would be floating above the x-axis or have a, yeah, it's going to be floating above it because it's not crossing the x-axis, okay? Just a rough sketch. It'd be somewhere like in here. I'd have to cross the 10. Anyway, that's where we're looking at, guys. Okay? All right. Do you want to do, yeah, let's give you a fraction one. Oh, I love how I hear all the excitement for fractions. All right, I got to pause this. My solution, I did plus or minus 2i is equal to, sorry, x is equal to plus or minus 2i times the square root of 3. Anything you want to go over from that one? You got it? All right, so the next one's going to be negative 4x squared plus 10 equals 17. So working with the orange, negative 4x squared plus 10 equals 17. You should have gotten plus or minus I times the square root of 7 over 2. Yeah. You could write it like this. Just as you could treat it like a coefficient, just as long as we understand that you're not saying that the I should be down here at the 2. Would it be wrong? We'll just leave it like that. I'll do a self-debate later. All right. Now, any lasting questions? All right, so we're going to stop